change ideas.
I'm so excited that we are now going to be able to learn and apply what it is that you're teaching.
Yeah.
And it's going to make a big difference. I know the little bit that you have taught me over the year
Yeah.
has really made a big difference.
But you only have one concept. That's
But even that just one tool has
Right.
really made a difference.
Yeah.
We should be fine.
Okay.
Welcome to the first training session for building and protecting and preserving our mental health. We all know that at this time of the in our existence, we are challenged with our mental health now more than ever before. And so we are privileged to have Patricia and Dan with us today to teach us some techniques that we can put in our mental health toolbox to make it through. Dan, Patricia, take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Anna Maria. First of all, I'm just going to introduce Patricia. She's been with me for more than 45 years, you know, and together we have a combined experience of 144 years. So it's close to 144 years. In January of next year, I'll be 77 and she'll be 76. But
No, I'll be 67.
oh, you'll be 67. Okay, you can take 10 years back. What I'm going to say is that we're not only trainers, we're eternal students, and we're sharing our experiences in transit with you. So all the things that we're going to share with you, you may already know some of the things because you have gone through a lot of experience yourself. Okay, and one of the things that we learn when you're in transit here right now is that we absolutely need to dance with Bob. Absolutely, because we don't, we're going towards the wall. Because Bob is ultimate reality. It's a reality that's invisible to us. We have never been taught about ultimate reality or Bob. Bob stands for boss of bosses. It's a manifestation of reality. So Bob is not what you like it to be, what you think it should be, what you hope it to be or wish it to be. Bob is what is. And this is going to be very tough for a lot of people to understand because it's not taught in the West, neither in the East. So 98% of the people do not understand who Bob is or what Bob is. Bob is a manifestation of reality, what is. For instance, if you send an email to somebody, okay, and you're expecting a quick response, then you're risking getting slapped by Bob because Bob, you don't know who Bob and what Bob is doing. There's good Bob and there's bad Bob. Bob, if there's a power cut and we have to stop the webinar, that's Bob.
It's reality.
Yeah. We can't, yeah, we don't want to be upset. If we're upset, that means Bob's hitting us over the face. Okay. So Bob is what is. People are Bob. So we have to deal with what is real, what is real. What is real.
What is in front of us.
Yes. I don't know if this is clear, this Bob thing.
And what we should do when we encounter Bob is to turn our head to the right. You know, we turn our head to the right and we come back to here and now. We don't think of what we want, what should be, that's it. Bob is there. So we turn our head to the right and we look at what is in front of us. We could look at an object, for example, for 30 seconds, see? Or we could look at 3 objects for 10 seconds each. And then we appreciate what we have and what we can do with what we have.
You see, there are 3 levels, 3 worlds that we've inherited. The first world, which is the superconscious world, which is, it's really like, how can you call it? Nirvana. It's detachment.
Yeah.
It's bliss. Okay. You can everybody can reach that state. It's a question of practicing it.
Yeah.
And then there's the second world, which is the here and now.
The conscious state.
Yeah. No words, no judgment, nothing. We just see. And in martial arts, that's the state we want to be in. In martial arts, when two opponents face each other, they have to empty their mind. So you look and you see, you focus, but not trying to even to understand what you're seeing. You're just seeing. There's an absence of fear because the mind is empty. Then there's the subconscious world. In the subconscious world, there are 3 levels. The first level is the state of comprehension. Right? You're all in that state right now. You're trying to understand or comprehend what I'm saying. So you're in a state of comprehension. It's a pretty good state to be in. We learn and we understand. The second level is the state of confusion. When there's a lot of confusion in the head, there's too much data, and you don't know whether to turn right or left or to make certain decisions because our mind are not clear.
Or when we feel lost.
Yes, we're lost
in life.
And sometimes people can be lost in the second state, in the second level of the third world for years. They lost interest in it. They have no objective, no motivation. So they just move around in the second level of the third world, the state of confusion, right? And then the third level is the state of total spontaneity. And 99% of the people live in that world. It's the third level of the third world.
Yeah, we react spontaneously to what is,
Yeah.
Good or bad. So we could be positive, we could be negative, but we have absolutely no control. It's just automatic.
Yeah. And the thing is that we've been reacting to illusions. All our thoughts are illusion. All our thinking, even our decision making are illusions. So let me ask you a question. What was it that was so important 10 years ago? 10 years ago.
Do you remember?
Yeah. 10 years ago. What about 5 years ago? What about last year? What about 6 months ago? You remember things that you thought was very important, and you were upset, you were angry, you couldn't sleep, you were worried about? What is it that it was so important, and what's happening now? Are they still important? What about last week? Doesn't it feel like it's just an illusion, all our thoughts? A month from now, you look back and say, oh, yes, I attended a conference, but it's another illusion. Did I learn something? I didn't learn something. So we got to master illusion. If we don't master illusion is going to master us. So we're going to be controlled by all kinds of thoughts, all kinds of bullies, psychological bullies in our mind. Whether we're rich or poor, whether we're powerful or we are weak, we're going to be controlled by all these illusions. And if we don't master them, then the illusion masters us. And there are 2 ways to do it: to master it externally and to master it internally. Now, for instance, I could use external illusion to get a meeting with a CEO, any CEO, at any time, anywhere, without calling the secretary, without calling the assistant. I just walk in with a leather satchel, a black satchel, handcuffed to my wrist, okay? And I dress up like a military officer, or just a delivery man, just with a cap, so that when the receptionist sees me, he thinks, hey, something is important, something is delivering something important.
You're delivering something.
Okay. When I go to the reception and I put my satchel on the desk, I say, there's a letter here from the White House that I have to deliver to your president. And I'm going to show him the picture of the president, of their president, and say, this is the man I'm going to handle this envelope, which is printed the White House. So I unlock the satchel, said, okay, I can't give it to the secretary. I cannot give it to the assistant. I got to give it direct to this man here. And I showed a photo of the president. And since he's an illusion that this is so important, he would not object. He either take me directly to the president's face as the office. If he did, I would just, if he said, no, I'm sorry, I cannot disturb the president. So I said, okay, give me your name. I'll say that, okay, you're responsible for me not delivering this to your president. More often than not, he'll just bring me up to the office or call the secretary down. And I cannot give it to the secretary either. So I got to see the president face to face. So when I meet up with the president, I'm going to say, okay, you can open the envelope now. And in the envelope, there's a sheet of paper saying, ask the person who brings you this envelope, what is the message? So he's going to read it, and he's going to say, okay, so you're the one who brought the envelope. So what is the message? I said, this message is so important. But to get you to hear me, hear what I have to tell you might take days, weeks, months, or even years. In the meantime, your company is going to lose millions or even billions of dollars. So you're very capable. You run a very good company, a very excellent company. But do you know that your company is losing millions each year? And I can prove it to you. You can bring in your CFO here to listen to what I have to tell you. So often say, no, I don't have to call me. I want to listen to it myself. What is it? What's your message? I say, have you heard of Bob? He said, who's Bob? I said, Bob? Well, Bob is the boss of bosses. Okay, so who is this boss of bosses? I say, he's reality. And every day, 98%, if not 100% of your personnel gets whacked by Bob. So I give him examples how his personnel gets, his managers get whacked by Bob, members of his commission gets whacked by Bob, and you can get your CFO to do an audit of how much time and energy you're wasting. And if you transfer that time and energy into dollars, you see how much money you're wasting. Every single second, people in your company are getting whacked. So often he brings in the CFO, the chief financial officer, and they do an audit. I say, I'll give you in a week, tell me how much you're losing per week. And you can call me if you want to fix up a meeting. And on top of that, let me ask you a question. How many computers do you have? And so, well, we have about 20,000 people working here, so we have about 20,000 computers. I say, let's try an experiment with a crazy idea, okay? I'd like you to get all your personnel to deactivate the firewall just for 24 hours. Deactivate the firewall for 20. Would you do it? So you must be crazy. We're not going to do that. So how about 1 hour? Just 1 hour. Deactivate the firewall. I said, no way, Dan. No, we're not going to do that. I said, do you know that the person who's running that computer, he has a brain computer that's worth zillions of dollars. And his computer has no firewall. Can you imagine that? All 20,000 people have no firewall to block all the cycles of virus attacks. What do you think your money is going to go? It's going to be, yes, it's going to be catastrophic. He said, listen, this is too much for me. Let me talk to my CEO and let me get back. Let me talk to my CFO and let me get back to you. How do we do this audit? I said, each time you have a board meeting or you see people getting upset, frustrated, angry, or burnout or pressured or stressed, they are losing time and energy. And time and energy are your only valuable asset. They be converted into millions or billions. So that's how I use mastering illusion to get the CEO's attention. And that's how I get him on my coaching program. All right. And Patricia, when she came out from university with an international law degree, I asked her, is that what you want to do? You're going to be an international lawyer? You can be locked up in your office? I said, what do you really want? And that's when she said, I love people. I love to talk to people. I love to become some kind of a liaison with them. I love to see people.
Well, I love languages.
Yeah, I love languages. She spoke French, Spanish, and English. So I said, "Why are you going to, going to law?" She was even offered a job by her dad in Switzerland with great pay, and then she turned around and said no to her daddy, and she became an became an interpreter. She ran her own company for 12 years. Let you.
Yeah, and in fact, I use the third concept. The third concept is the we know concept, and it's very, very important. What is that concept? That concept is the first we is, yes, you are important. You are important as a person. Okay, we are important as a person. We are not important because of what we are or what we do or not do, but we are important because we just are. Because we just live. For example, if somebody falls in front of us, our tendency is going to be to help that person, right? So we are important to that person, see? We're important to our shopkeepers because we go and buy from them. So we help them live and develop their business, see? So we are important. And the second we is, yes, other people are important for the same reasons. We're important to them and they are important to us, okay? And the third element, which is very important, is no, you don't need to be liked. It could be a revolution for some people because we have been taught that you ought to be nice, you know, to please people, you know, you ought to be liked by people, you know. But what does it bring us? You know, during our trainings, we've seen a lot of people who wanted to be liked by people, and they did things because they wanted to be liked by people. And what did they get in return? Most of them, nothing. The people they were trying to be liked by, you know, they didn't return, they didn't thank them. They were not grateful. So they, in turn, became bitter, you know. See how people are, you know, they are grateful and all this. But no, it's because they were doing things to be liked. But if we don't do things to be liked, but because we want to, it's totally different. And we don't expect anything in return. When we do something, we don't expect anything. And if we get something, we appreciate it, of course. And it changes a lot of things. We can do a lot of things, you know. We can say no when we need to say no. And it's important sometimes.
So just remind you that, you know, when she started this, she had no sales experience. She was timid. She knew nobody.
Yes.
So the first thing you got to install this psychological firewall. We know, and activate it 3 times a day. And this is what she did. She went to all the hotels, the top hotels,
Yeah.
all the major hotels, and she goes and presents herself in front of the concierge. And then she introduces herself, that I'm an interpreter and looking for a job. And they showed her a long list of all the interpreters they already have on their books. So
And most of them said no, in fact.
Yes.
You know, we already have a lot of interpreters, so it's okay. A few of them accepted, but very few. But I didn't take no for an answer. No, to me, is a temporary answer. It's not necessarily forever. So I went back 1 month after, and I went back another month after. And little by little, they got to know me. They got to trust me. And one day, they started to call me. And within 2 years, I had monopolized all the big hotels in Paris. The Crillon, the Ritz, the George V, the Intercontinental, the Meurice, the Bristol, all of them.
She got the top class clients.
Yeah.
You got sheikhs asking for her services.
Yeah.
She worked for John, who's that film producer, the action film.
I don't remember.
Film producer. She works for the Jackson family, and she works for
CEOs, you know.
Queens,
No, yeah, for
heads of states in South America.
Yeah, I really, really had a good time. But after 12 years of practicing the tools, you know, I wanted to share them because they brought me so much, you know. They helped me develop my business beyond my wildest dreams, you know. And but they gave me so much personally too, you know, in my personal life. So I decided I wanted to share them, and I became dance associate.
Yeah, and she was able to be on equal terms with all the top guys, the CEOs that came to Europe and asked for a service. She was able to say, no, this is not a good thing that you just did. You know, she was able to contribute her own observation. Because some of the millionaires from the US, when they come over here and they meet the billionaires, they don't feel they're good enough.
Yeah, because we always compare.
Yeah,
So
they always compare in their head.
they always compare. Yeah.
So while they're negotiating, the guy who feels that he's not good enough or not important enough is going to give away, what's called, going to defavorize himself. And Patricia sometimes would intervene and say, listen, that was not a good thing to do. She was not afraid of to be liked or not to be liked or to even lose them as a client. So she was a great contribution to all these people. This was the way we know.
But the way we know especially helped me develop my business and find prospects, because we don't take no for an answer and it doesn't affect us. Okay, people have the right to say no. We have the right to say no too. So, you know, they have the right. It doesn't mean they're going to say no forever, you know, or we can find other ways. But the main thing is not to be affected, because if we're affected by a no, we lose time and we lose energy.
And 3 times a day, just like clockwork, you know, she triggers that concept we know. So let's say that the phone rings and she sees somebody in front of her and holding a book. She goes, oh, we know she's important. This person is important. And she gets into a conversation with the person.
What is that book you are reading, for example?
Yeah,
you know?
if they don't want to answer or they find her intrusive, it's no big deal for her because she doesn't want to be liked.
Yes. But most of the time people respond, especially if we are spontaneous, if we do it sincerely, we have nothing in mind, you know, just no thoughts, you know, we don't want anything from that person. We just want to share, we just want to talk to that person. Then the person responds.
So
and
she opened lots of doors.
Yeah.
She opened all the doors.
Yeah. That's a fabulous tool, you know. Yes, yes, no, we know. Yeah.
She got Times Magazine,
Newsweek.
I work for them simply by going to see them. So that for veterans who's going on a new adventure, by using we know and by mastering illusion, by understanding that they're important, it doesn't matter what they do or don't do, you build their confidence. And they must understand that they live in the zillion-dollar mobile home. And they can park their mobile home on a train, on a plane, on a sidewalk, on a motorbike. And that's the most important home they have. I don't know if this is clear.
There's a question, Dan. What if you are on the spectrum? If you are autistic, or if you have a disability that may limit your capabilities, how do you address that?
Well, first of all, they got to understand the intrinsic value. It doesn't mean they have to express themselves or the intrinsic value. They're very important, and just by showing them, by hugging them, and make them feel they're important, they will receive the message. You see, we communicate unconsciously. We communicate unconsciously. So if they get the feeling that they are valuable, the intrinsic value is that they're important, then they're going to act accordingly. If they're autistic, you can do it through just touch. Touch is an easy way, you know. Sometimes you don't have to say a word. You just, you know, a loving touch, making the person understand it's important, is enough to carry the message through.
Okay.
We have done this with street gangs.
If you're even, right, tell me about the street gang here in a second, but if we're in a virtual world, we can still reach out and touch people with our words.
Absolutely.
By showing our appreciation and value for the person, right? That then builds the intrinsic value, mastering the illusion,
right,
and building a firewall against a negative happenstance.
Yes. But we
Okay,
get them not just to understand, but to test the illusion. They can create a small illusion, create an illusion like I would say camera, surprise, or candid camera. All right. For 15-minute, a 15-minute illusion, or 10-minute or 5-minute illusion, and then play it out. This is called an active illusion. All right. Just like one of our students, who's a very timid student who attended our webinar. I asked him, what do you like to be when you grow up, when you get older? And he said, I like to be a playboy. I said, you can be a playboy now, right? You get an illusion that you're not a playboy because you have big glasses and you're small and nobody's going to talk. Nobody's going to consider you as a playboy. So tomorrow you go out into the street, I'll be the cameraman, I'm going to film you, all right? You're going to go into the active illusion and then you're going to say something beautiful, something great to whichever woman that, or girl that pleases you. So he said, okay, that's a deal. So I went out of the hotel one afternoon, and I just stood on the side, the other opposite side of the road, and then he sees people passing by, and he would go to approach a girl and just bow down, do a curtsy, and say, "You're the most beautiful girl I've seen today." Then he ran away. The girl didn't kind of grab him or
Didn't eat him.
no, didn't eat him. He was even
Didn't slap
invited.
him.
He was even invited to have a coffee with
Yeah.
them. So I
With
said,
some of them.
you don't do this now once. You're going to do it again. Try it again. And eventually, he got his confidence back. His illusion now is the
Wow.
playboy.
Yeah.
And when
that's a really cool
Friday night meeting,
story. Yeah,
into our Friday
So-
night meeting, he started to chat up all the people there. He's regained his own confidence.
Yeah.
And
So
somebody
let's to
in
recap.
psychology-
Yeah.
let's recap. When something goes wrong, in that moment, turn your head to the right.
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 Mastering illusion gives us the opportunity to take control of any situation.
Absolutely.
And then we know is yes, yes, no, yes, you are important. Yes,
Yes.
I am important, but no, I don't need to be liked.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
And those are the three tools that we in this session were able to share out of how many? At least 30 or 40 in the
More than
toolbox.
30. More
More
than
than
30 tools.
We
Yeah.
have time management.
Yes.
We're managing paradox.
Communication tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With time management, if you get the ratio right, every day is like a vacation.
Yeah.
It is so
So-
simple that Patricia couldn't understand it in the beginning.
Well, it's not
But
that.
now you've mastered it, right,
Okay.
Patricia?
What?
Now you have mastered them.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, because you have no stress every day. Even if you got a lot of things to do, you got no stress because you got the right ratio, of tasks to do. And your approach of your day is different. It changes everything, And you do everything. Sometimes you do more than you thought you would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
how
don't
I'm
waste
able to
energy.
do what I do. Absolutely.
Mm.
I read your book, so I'm kind of ahead of the class.
Okay.
Anyway, that will end this session today.
Okay.
But in 2 weeks, on September 27, we will continue with sharing more tools.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you so much, Patricia and Dan, for this session. And for those that registered for this session, I will send you out the recording, including those that attended. So have a great day and make it a great one.
Okay. You
Okay.
guys too. You're all VIPs to us. All of
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
bye-bye
you
for now.
attending.
Bye.
Ciao, 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 ciao.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.